Oh, driving to the next spot. Finally went up in enough elevation here. We're on the edge of Ponderosa Pine Forest. Wanna say we're talking about 7,500 feet above sea level is kind of where that starts. Anyway, lineator post along the highway. There's a reason those are double stacked. In a lot of years, when the snow is good, they will plow enough snow off the shoulder of the road into these areas. You will no longer be able to see those three reflectors on that bottom one. There's a nice little spot to take a stop. Somebody cleared some brush here. Zoom this up. That is the south rim of the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Just a quick view of it. We'll go on up here. There's a hike called Hermit's Rest. Don't know that we feel like making that hike today, but hopefully we can look into the canyon there and see the backside of Morrow Point Dam and Morrow Point Reservoir and see what we're looking at for water levels in it. So I missed by a little bit today. Step over here and take a look this way. Yeah. There's the canyon behind Morrow Point Dam, but I am far enough to the east that we are actually in river instead of lake at Morrow Point. It's very still water down there. It may be the very upper ends of the lake, but I think it's the river. We'll go check the other end of Morrow Point, take a look from down there. I think I missed the turnoff to Hermit's Rest and that hike. Somewhere back down there, I think it's labeled as Crystal instead of Hermit's Rest. Anyway, what I was thinking earlier, 100-year stuff, 1929, the Great Dust Bowl, Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. Rains failed, the winds came up. Speaking of that wind coming up, so we're looking at a 100-year cycle. Are we headed for another dust bowl? Is it going to be that dry that there's no water for anybody? More on that discussion when we're not in the wind. Take another look at the canyon while we're here. I did not miss it. When I drove away from there, I thought about that power line for a minute and went, hang on. There's only one power station in this area I know that would generate enough power to energize a line of that size. Now, I found the Hermit's Rest area. Now we can look at Morrow Point Lake. Certainly just short and right behind the dam. From up here, let's zoom down. I'm not even going to venture a guess at this point. Gates closed for the parking area, but we're taking a quick look. I don't feel that I probably want to hike that entire hike yet today. honestly, that lake's not looking too bad, but it is a massive power generation point for the western U.S. As I said, there are... Wow, that was really bad of me. That's better. Sorry, guys. Where was I at? Okay, let's start that over. As I said, it is a major power production project for the Bureau of Reclamation and part of the Western Area Power Administration's electricity generations. Electrical generation grid. Wow, I'm having a hard time this afternoon. Does not surprise me that Morrow Point is actually fairly full right now, that they're going to try and keep it that way as long as possible to keep power generating going. Wander over here, take a look. Hopefully that wind is not too bad with the way I'm holding the phone. Yeah, I'm not feeling that one today. Yeah, we'll come back sometime later, maybe in June, and take a look. See if we can't make it down to the lake. Take a closer look at it. Here we are looking off to the south. That is the Cimarron Valley at the very bottom, just over the edge of the peaks. And it laces all the way back into the Cimarron Mountains, and that is actually part of the San Juan mountain chain. The last snowstorm we got in March here really helped that out. There are a couple lakes to the south in the Gunnison River Basin here that will probably get full and probably hold enough water to make it through a summer. But the further to the farther off to the east we go, a whole lot less of that snow made it up there. So, very shocked, very, very shocked to find that Morrow Point is as full as it is. We're thinking in the long run, many years ago, Blue Mesa, which is the next one we'll go take a look at. It's a large lake. The Bureau of Reclamation and WAPA, Western Area Power Administration, had everything in the Colorado River Basin dump about 3 years ago just to try and bring Lake Powell back to a level high enough they were sure it would continue generating electricity for that summer. The latest news I just heard on Lake Powell, the Bullfrog Marina is getting ready to be closed down and everything moved across to the channel side at Hall's Crossing. There isn't enough water left up here to dump and fill that lake back up. I'm questioning whether it's going to continue to go ahead and generate power for the entire summer at Lake Powell. Seeing how full Morrow Point is, it might make it through the summer. But I'm beginning to question it too. Starting to get to the upper reaches of Morrow Point Reservoir. It's not a super long reservoir, but it is fairly deep. We'll get a view of the dam later and you'll understand that it's fairly deep. From this vantage point here, we're looking back to the west. No, we are looking back to the east. Wow, why am I having trouble today? We are looking at the spine of the United States. We are looking at the Continental Divide in that distance. We should be looking at a whole lot more snow than we are looking at right now. That is the Rocky Mountains out there. And from the top of the little brown ridge in the foreground, all the way up those blue mountains currently, we should be seeing snow. It's not there. The whole point of making this video today, it's probably not going to be great. Trying to get myself back in the groove of it. It's been a bit since we've done one. Put it out there that start conserving water now. Start right now, because there's not going to be any by the end of summer. Okay, here we are. Colorado River Storage Project on the Gunnison River. When this lake is completely full, let's find a water line over there. It was up to that water line when it was completely full once. It has not been completely full in years. It's gotten to a point where a normal full level, which is probably about that first main seam on the concrete here, you can see. That would have been completely full. Yep, we can see the line on these posts over here. There's a real light ring right in the middle, and there's a dark line below it that was full. We're talking 60 vertical feet here. But in recent years, it hasn't been that full for a very, very long time. A normal full year, that ledge right there is underwater. A good year, 4 or 5 feet above that. If we look out across here, we'll zoom this back in. We can see we're looking at beach without grass. And then we're looking at a lot of grass up to the full line. We're talking 60 to 80 feet low on the water level. Let's just do this real quick on that. Looking at that as maybe full level somewhere in the center screen. And we just keep going. And we keep going. And we keep going. And we keep going. Looking at all the different colored bands on the spillway here, tells you what we've been looking like in recent years for water levels. Really light white, it's a pretty standard year. Good year, we're leaving sand on the little step right there. That's what it's been for years. That's 30 feet down from full, completely full. And this year there is not enough water, I believe, in this whole area that is going to bring this up anywhere near that split between the white and the gray. Maybe we're going to pick it up a couple feet from there. As it said on the sign, reservoir capacity is what? 941,000 acre feet of water. You don't have it. And I don't know that the spillways, which is what we're staring at, go very much further down than what they do. We are 340 feet to the bottom of the canyon in the main channel out in there. But the spillway is built off to the side, as it is in all dams. I would say probably 100 feet off the bottom of the canyon floor, just so there'd be enough drop to create electricity. Couldn't swear to it. Maybe I'll do some research. I am honestly thinking that at some point we're going to come back and revisit all of this in a couple months and see what the lakes have done. That will be the complete end of all of the runoff for the summer, and everything comes to homeostasis, we'll say. Anyway, my thought of homeostasis on the lake is it's not dropping, but it's no longer gaining, and that's where it's going to set for a small period in time before all of the water needs downriver in the Colorado River Basin start drawing on it. And all the electrical needs of all of the people continue to draw on it all the time for power output. We're going to jump loose here from Blue Mesa and go down to Marl Point Dam. Down there I'll take a minute and share my thoughts and see, I think I got a plan that in the long run would save the lower Colorado River Basin, which would then in turn help the upper Colorado River Basin recover. Well, I'm a little zoomed in, but it'll get there. Little drive across the dam. We were on that side over there. Standing kind of mid-screen. Thought we'd stop on this side and give a better look at the intakes. Thinking about it in the past years, the very tips of those intakes have been sticking out. Probably for the last somewhere between 6 and 8 years. It was very, very low about 8 years ago, and we had one stupendous, amazing winter. It dumped a ton of snow. It did get to where the intakes were covered back then. Everybody was questioning it then as to whether we were going to make it through that one. It'd been 3 years since we'd had really good snows that year. That one winter, it really did fix it. I think we're at a point now that we're beyond one winter being able to fix it. Probably one of my favorite dams on the Gunnison River projects. We'll do the full reveal of it here. Yeah, as they say, do not enter. You can walk this. There's a little sign on that other one that says no vehicles beyond this point. This little thing tells you a bit about the place. But we're gonna do this. There we are, staring at Marl Point Dam. We'll wander to the sign and get the specs on it, I forget them. Center section at the top are actually spillways. On a good year, which has happened a few times, those little spillways will be opened up and let excess water through when we've had the snow. I think the last time they were open was about 4 years ago. Whew. There we are, the sign for the dam. Double curvature, thin arch concrete dam built in the United States. The first one. 469 feet high, 740 feet long. 52 feet thick at the base, 12 feet wide at the crest. Oh, let me get back on that so in case you guys want to pause for a minute, maybe it's clear enough to read. There we go. Might want to pause there a minute. And there's the lower half of it in case you need it again. This was a dam as part of the river storage, but actually more of a power generation point. If you have more interest in this and would like to see me come up and do a complete story on it, I could do that. That'd be interesting for me. I enjoy it. This here we will dwell on for a moment. These are storage dams built on the Colorado River to store water, ending at Glen Canyon and Lake Powell. That is the upper Colorado River. Flaming Gorge, Aspinall, Navajo. So this is that water storage map. This is only the upper Colorado River area, ending at Glen Canyon and Lake Powell. Lake Navajo, that is a pretty good storage size. Flaming Gorge, that is another one. Colorado River Storage Project units. Those are the two that are listed there, along with Aspinall. Don't know where that one is. I think that is the combination of Morrow Point and Blue Mesa dams together is the listing of Aspinall. Anyway, we could do another study on this some other time. So the upper Colorado River Basin and the lower Colorado River Basin. Let's get over here, sit down, and discuss that a second. Okay, there we are. There's a big dam in the background in my ugly mug. We don't do projects like this anymore. Grandpa was working on this one in 1965 after they'd finished Blue Mesa upriver from it. So we're talking projects from the 50s and 60s. I don't think Lake Powell was completed until in the 1980s there at Glen Canyon. So we're talking projects that are only 40 and 50 years old, and yet we're also looking at projects that are running out of boat ramp to reach the water because they never thought it would be this bad of a drought. As I said earlier, 100-year cycles on things. 1929, 1928, 29, 30. We were in the Dust Bowl. There was no snow in the mountains. There was no rain out on the plains. The ground dried up and a lot of it blew away. We had blackout dust storms out in Chicago and stuff. We're coming up on that 100-year cycle. The stuff we're looking at here is anywhere from 40 to 60 years old. I don't think anybody accounted for this. I think we could fix the lower Colorado River Basin and fill Lakemead back up. Anybody ever been near the Salton Sea in California? It's below sea level. We punch an aqueduct, a tunnel, something through to the Pacific Ocean and allow it to come into there. Because by the time you get that far inland, you don't get the foggy mornings and the sun shines a lot and it's really hot and it's great for solar energy. So once we get it to there, we do some solar distillation work. We take it and we pump it out of that area north into the mountains into a storage lake. Fill that during the day when the solar energy's on, drop it out of there further north at night through some more turbines, creating energy. It's just a big battery. Do that 3 times. I've looked this over on Google Earth. I've actually mapped it completely out. One of these days, maybe somebody cares, I'll take a look and bring it back up, show everybody what I'm talking about. But do that raise and drop 3 times. That last drop, you're dumping water back in Lakemead. If you could fix the lower Colorado River and the water needs of Arizona and Southern California, you could take a little of the pressure off of this upper Colorado River Basin. If we got a little pressure off up here, we can maybe get these reservoirs back to where they're storing water plus generating electricity and not in fear, as we were like 3 years ago, of Lake Powell being so low that Glen Canyon would no longer produce electricity. Bureau of Reclamation had all the major water storage areas in the upper Colorado River Basin dump to bring Lake Powell up So they were sure it was going to generate power. Too many more winters like the one we've had and drought stretches that we've been in. There won't be anything to dump for there. A little bit of a gloomy day today on that video, but there are ways we can work on it. Start saving your water now. Try and start conserving every bit you can because we're going to need it. I don't really consider myself an environmentalist, but I can see the writing on the wall at times. The reason we don't do a lot of these big projects anymore is there is an ecological impact to it. Does that impact outweigh the project? Well, if we manage it correctly, I think we can fix it, just like I left my mind. The Grand Canyon in the Colorado River in the bottom of the Grand Canyon was losing sandbars and habitat down in there due to the fact that the river didn't flow wild through there anymore and flush a bunch of silt in there to fill them up. So they were washing away slowly and disappearing. Little management, we've managed to bring those back some. There are several endangered species along the lines to, if the rivers go dry, we're going to lose them too. Last I currently knew, Colorado River no longer reaches the Gulf or the Baja Gulf. Baja Gulf? Gulf of Baja. Hasn't for years. And if it did, it was a slight little trickle by the time it got there. Colorado River system has so much desire, demand, and need on it that there's not enough water for it. The project I'm proposing, it's pretty huge. A lot of ecological impacts probably on that as well, but at some point I think it's going to be a necessity. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will all turn around and the Dust Bowl won't happen again, and next year we'll have snow beyond snow and we'll fix everything. Kind of doubting it, guys, but anybody wants to know more, hit me up. I love discussing wild things like this. Thought I'd wander down here a little closer to the dam. We'll zoom in here real quick. That door right there is a man door for walking out of the power generation area of that plant. You can step out of that door onto that catwalk. Now let's zoom out. It's just a little scale for you. It's going to take me a lot of editing. There's a lot of video here, so it's probably going to be a week before it comes out. Maybe I'll throw a short up and let you know that I got one coming finally again. But until the next time, hope you all have a great time. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of a trip. Maybe it starts a discussion somewhere and maybe we sort something out for the rest of the world later on.